Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Scoop. My name is Dan, and I'm the primary content creator here on I Feel Like Learning. Inside Scoop is a series where I'll be talking to students in a wide variety of majors to see what it's really like to be enrolled in their specific major programs. We'll also discuss the career opportunities that these students have after graduating. Welcome to Inside Scoop. Hi, everyone. So today I'm joined by two people, actually. The first one of whom you met in our business and engineering episode, Anna from the I Feel Like podcast. Hi, Anna. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Dan? Thanks for having me on again.
And then today we're also joined by one of our mutual friends, someone else that we know from school, our friend Irving. So, Irving, how you doing?
Good, Dan. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We'll get into it in a second, but I guess this isn't really necessarily a major, but a thing that I feel like a lot of people do in college. A lot of people undergo this kind of change during their college education, I would say. So I guess just to start right out, the program, or I guess classification of whatever that we're going to be talking about tonight, is we're all students who switched our major. So I know for me, I know the reasons why I ended up switching my major, but I guess for you guys, what attracted you guys or made you guys want to change your major?
I honestly think when I went into college, I kind of had this idea. I was almost like in love with this idea of being an engineer. I did like biology, and I guess I kind of liked math, but like I said, I think it was really just more this idea and this vision of like, wow, I'm gonna be so cool. I'm gonna be a female engineer, empowerment, blah blah blah. But I got into school and there was all this physics and just kind of stuff I really wasn't interested in. So I think that's definitely what made me change. Probably the fact that I maybe wasn't in the right thing to begin with.
Similar to Anna, I had a similar experience in high school where it's more just I had the idea of wanting to be an engineer at first. That was really the only thing I was certain of at first. But we had like a small meeting at school and they gave us a list and there was various types of engineering in that list and biomedical engineering was one of the one there. I'm like, sure, why not? So it was a very last minute change that I hope would work out. There are various things that I didn't like about biomedical engineering, but there were some things that I did like. But in the end, I decided to end up changing.
As for what made me switch or what helped me decide what to switch to, I guess as you know from the other episode that I'm happen to be in, my current major is business and engineering. So I still do get to keep my foundational engineering curriculum background, but I do get exposed more to business courses and that aspect of things. And what kind of led me to wanting to pursue business is I just kind of found it fascinating because business is everywhere in life. I just found it interesting and I found that I was more inclined to reading about how businesses work. And I've always kind of had this dream of starting a small business. So I thought it just seemed like a good next step for me. And especially because I already kind of had that half engineering background with this major, it was a pretty easy transition too.
I guess just to give some background information, I guess, because I guess not all of you, I just said guess a lot of times. I apologize. But since you all might not have seen Anna's previous episode, and since this is Irving's first time on Inside Scoop, I think it could be good to kind of just share that we all started out as biomedical engineering majors. That's actually how we all met freshman year. We all were in the same biomed classes together, so that's kind of how we all became friends. But soon after that, and I think a lot of people too who were in our freshman class ended up switching out of biomedical engineering. As you know, I switched into biology. Like Anna said, she switched into business and engineering. And then Irving, I guess if you want to share what you're doing now.
Right. So I'm in the process of changing from biomedical engineering to computer science. So that was a decision similar to Anna, where I found I didn't find some of the things we were studying in biomedical engineering as interesting. So a lot of the concepts that we study in that I'm going to study in computer science, I find a lot more interesting. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to change.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I feel like for me too, like you guys know, I just wasn't interested in those engineering concepts. I was more interested in biology. So I feel like a natural progression for a lot of people is just kind of you think you have your interest, but then kind of refining your interest or kind of seeing if what you initially thought is actually best for you. And I think that's why a lot of college students do end up switching their major. I guess moving on, because Irving, you did say that you were in the process of switching majors right now. Anna and I both already completed that process. What was it like to switch majors for you guys? Did it set you back at all in terms of graduation, having to make your whole like new plan of study, meeting your new advisors, everything like that?
Right. So for me, I'm still in the process of changing right now. So I still need I just got to the point where I needed some other requirements. I need to take a few classes before I was able to change my major. So I have that class completed now, and now I'm actually able to begin the process of changing my major. And so now I have a meeting scheduled soon where I will meet my new advisor and schedule out, make a plan of study, and see whether or not I'll be put back any classes or need to add more classes. So hopefully I won't be put back too far, and hopefully I'll still be able to graduate on time with the rest of us.
Switching majors actually, I think, put me in a better situation almost. I think I have a lot more freedom with my schedule now. I can pursue some minors that I probably wouldn't have been able to as a biomedical engineering major. And it is nice that I pretty much have most of my engineering classes out of the way. So it's pretty much just business classes now. And yeah, I honestly think this, in terms of scheduling, was a win. I just have so much more flexibility and I don't have to be taking close to the maximum amount of credits every single term to still graduate on time.
I think that that's lucky for Anna. Um, I think Anna's very fortunate to have that. I don't know specifically for Irving because, like you said, he is still making that plan of study. But I know at least for me, like nowadays, like in each semester, I am having to take close to the max just because not necessarily all of my engineering courses transferred over to my new major of biology. So I think things like that kind of did affect me as I was switching my major, just having to maybe take a lot heavier of a course load than I would have liked to, I guess.
I certainly did get lucky, and that's part of the reason why I did switch to business and engineering because I knew that I would have a lot of those engineering classes fulfilled. So that kind of did guide my transition. If I hadn't already invested so much time and energy into the engineering thing, I might have just gone full business. But this was just a logical step for me. And I think most people, it's probably not going to work out as favorably. I hate to be negative like that, but I think that just kind of is what happens most of the time. This definitely is an extenuating circumstance, and I was very fortunate.
Yeah, I'm most likely I'm probably going to have a very full workload on the next few coming terms because I'll have to just take a lot more classes, and I'll most likely probably have to take some classes during our co-ops and our breaks, so that I'll definitely have a full course load, and that still might not be enough time for me to graduate on time.
I think it was only one class that I took between, I guess, 4 or 5 quarters at school. Out of all those classes, only one didn't transfer over.
I think I also would like to kind of give a disclaimer or preface that the time, or I guess the time in which you switch your major kind of does affect if you'll be pushed back in terms of graduating on time or not. I think I was pretty fortunate because I switched my major right after freshman year. Anna did it kind of shortly after that as well. But I guess with Irving, since you're just doing it now, we've already completed a good portion of college. So I think like the longer you wait, the harder it would be to graduate on time. At least I would think.
Definitely. That's I think I'm at probably maybe the threshold where I shouldn't change my major anymore. So without intending to be set back too far, I think this is really the latest I could switch and still be potentially graduating on time.
I think it's good then also to bring up the question like, is it worth it to switch your major even if like you realize in your last year of college that you hate what you're doing? Is it worth it to switch your major if you realize that the major that you're currently in isn't right for you and you don't want to be doing that for the rest of your life?
I think it depends on the individual and what, I guess, their preferences. Some people, can kind of tolerate doing something that they don't like, whereas I think some other people really do need to be passionate about the work, or else they just really can't push through that. And also, I guess in the case that you're changing maybe your senior year, are you willing to pay the extra money to stay in school longer? Are you okay with getting a later start in your career? I think it just stuff like that is going to matter more or less to different people. And I also do want to put out there that just because you major in engineering, you're not slated to be an engineer for the rest of your life. I know plenty of people from different internships who graduated engineers. They're in marketing now, supply chain, management. Just because you come out with a degree in something doesn't mean you're limited to that. So depending on what it is that you want to do and what degree you're close to getting, you could still potentially get a job in the field you do want without having to get the actual paper that says your degree.
I think that's definitely a good way to put it. And I think it also kind of has sway, whereas like if the major that you're initially in, if that's maybe like a very well-renowned major, like it comes with a lot of like gravitas, if you will, like something like engineering, where it's like a lot of people who get engineering degrees tend to be smart people. So I feel like if you're getting a degree like that, but you're maybe not sure if you want to do engineering, regardless of what you want to do, if an employer can see that you have an engineering degree, they'd probably be still willing to take you on and give you a chance just because they know that you're capable of such a hard subject. So I think it also kind of plays into effect what your initial major was and then what you want to go into from there. Um, I guess just moving on to our next question, what's something that you guys wish you knew before switching majors about the process or really anything in general?
I really wish I had known more about a lot of the requirements before I could change into a certain major, because that's something that that really delayed me changing majors as I required a class. There's a few other things, requirements that kind of kept me, that delayed that process. So now I am further into it and I'm cutting it even closer to that threshold of where I should change, whether or not I should change or stay the same major.
I wish I hadn't switched maybe so impulsively. I think the reason I did switch, well, I guess I think for a little while I had kind of known I'm not loving this. I don't know if this is for me, but during the school year, it was kind of a rough semester. So I was just kind of like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So then I switched, and I'm not saying that I regret switching, but I think sometimes I do think, what if I did just do engineering? I could probably do what I want to do with an engineering degree, and engineering's kind of a little bit more stable and more of a defined career path. So again, I'm not saying that switching was a mistake, and I don't think it was, but maybe I wish I had thought it out more, instead of just randomly deciding I was going to switch after I did bad on a test.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend thinking out these decisions. Sometimes, follow your instincts. Your instincts are normally right. At least I know for me, like my gut instincts are always at the end of the day what I knew I should have done. But I would definitely say think it out. Talk to your current advisor, talk to your potential new advisor in this new major, see like how far you would be set back, if at all, see what requirements would transfer over, especially. Because I think something that really tripped me up when I was switching majors was I assumed that a lot more of my credits from my first major would switch over to my second major. And that just wasn't the case, I guess, for some different like regulations that the majors required you to have, or for some slight differences in concepts that were taught, things like that, whatever. But I definitely recommend talking to both your old and new advisors to like assess the situation, see how far you'll be set back, if at all, and then just see your general progress in like each major and see if it would be worth it for the change.
I just want to throw it out there. Do not panic if you don't like the major you're in. I'm sure a lot of people switch their majors. I mean, just the three of us alone, we all started in the same thing. We all went different paths. And even though I changed my major once, I still really don't know what I want to do. And occasionally I'll just browse the catalog and pick something random and be like, oh, philosophy, this kind of looks cool. What if I was a philosophy major? So it's just so crazy. There's so much out there. And you don't have to feel pressured to get it right from the start.
I agree with Anna. I'm still not entirely too sure if this decision to change is exactly what I want to do, because I wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do to begin with. But I think this step is definitely I'm definitely taking a step closer in the direction that I want to be, the direction I want to take my future or my career.
That's a really good way to put it. And I think that like at the end of the day, you can never be super sure of a decision to switch majors, especially because that is kind of a big decision because that will have an impact on. I don't want to make this sound like a big deal, but it will have an impact on the rest of your life or at least your professional career. But definitely think about it, take it slow, and really at the end of the day, just do what's best for you. You know yourself as an individual better than anyone. And obviously get the opinions from your advisors, from your support system, friends, family, things like that. But at the end of the day, only you can really make this decision for yourself. It's your life. So just do what makes you happy, I would say. I guess just to kind of wrap this up as we normally do. Normally, I ask a question, what's next for you? And you've already heard that answer from me and Anna in a previous episode. So I guess, Irving, after you switch your major, what's next for you in your field of computer science?
So I've always been an artistic person. I've always liked building things and designing things. So hopefully, I'll take that computer science and maybe I'll get to focus on a concentration, maybe game design. Hopefully, do some more artistic things that maybe my previous major wouldn't have let me do as much. So hopefully that'll be something I'll get a chance to do.
That would definitely be cool, at least to hear about, because as you guys may or may not have watched, we talked to Evan, who's also a computer science major in a previous episode, but he was just kind of more general computer science. So it would be cool, Irving, as you kind of progress through this, if we revisit you coming on the show just to kind of hear how the specific aspects of like game design, things like that are going. So yeah, that was an inside scoop into the life of students who have switched majors. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to write them in the comments below. You can contact us via our website. Link can be found in the description. Wow, I'm getting tongue-tied today. But yeah, I'd just like to thank Anna and Irving both for coming on. You guys were great. Loved hearing from Anna again, Irving for the first time on this series. And yeah, if you want to hear more about switching majors, if you have any questions, definitely let us know. We'd be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching this episode of Inside Scoop. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our new releases. New episodes of Inside Scoop will be available every Friday. Also, be sure to check out other content from I Feel Like Learning, as well as all the other I Feel Like productions. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep staying informed, and keep on learning.